Yeah, we're
Yep.
recording now.
We're recording.
All right, we're gonna call the regular meeting of the Palomino Valley General Improvement District to order at 6 P.M. on Thursday, January 16th, 2025. Roll call.
Greg Dennis here.
Got a story.
Marcia Todd's here.
Julie Osborne.
John Patterson, we have a quorum. That was it. Public comment
Public comment.
on matters not listed on the agenda.
Oh, I do have. I'm so curious. What have you got in the bucket of goo?
Bucket of mud.
Please
And
state
this-
your name.
My
This
name
is
is,
why we're here.
my name is Robert Condon. I want to register a discontent. Last, I guess it was July. There was this,
Looks like mag chloride.
I guess it
No?
is,
Okay,
Set up your
what
driveway.
we call it is mud.
okay.
Whenever it gets a drop of water on it turns into, looks like cement.
Where does it turn into cement or where does it turn into mud? On the road?
Primarily, the zone that we're concerned with is where they put it over the top of asphalt on the lead into North Bacon Line Road. Now, the asphalt won't let the water go out anywhere, it just sits there and turns back into mud.
So you're saying we put,
It needs to come off.
we put Class E on top of chip seal?
Yeah.
That's the only thing we have out there is chip seal.
Well, it's a real thin coating of
Right,
asphalt.
that's what we call it, chip seal. And it doesn't let the water soak through?
Nope,
So it goos up, gets on the car, and you're complaining
no,
about that.
worse than that, it gets so sloppy that you slide off the road.
Got it.
And we only had just a little bit of water.
Is it a
rainwater.
drainage issue? Is it not draining?
No, it's a mag chloride.
There's
Oh.
no mag chloride,
No mag chloride?
and it's the first mile, even when you
Hold on.
pass.
Hold
Oh,
on.
yeah, this is
Hold on.
public comment.
You got 3 minutes of public comment.
I'm sorry.
Give them this 3 minutes, and then if you guys want to talk about it, go ahead.
My neighbor was telling you earlier, that, we have another neighbor that couldn't be here tonight. She was, driving her husband into a doctor's appointment, and darn near slid off the road going out there. Then coming back, she hired a young guy to wash the car off, and it took him 3 hours to get the stuff off. Of course, all under the bottom of the car too, and he turns to cement, coating everything. It's a sloppy mess. But now further up, like Sean was saying, further up where they put that stuff on native soil, it has hardened up and it has gotten better. I don't see that happening where they put it on top of the asphalt.
And, excuse me, I have to speak. This
Can you give
gentleman
give
here
us your name, ma'am?
went in and took some of that mud off
Can you give us
so
your
that
name?
our
ma'am?
neighbor could get out.
Maxine Waters,
No, not water.
They
Obama.
said your name, you can go ahead.
Obaka, I'm sorry. My bad, my bad.
Go ahead, Maxine.
Oh, wait.
Bob here,
Hold
what
on.
he did
Oh, 1 second.
to help our neighbor so she could get to it.
Hold on, Maxine.
The attorney say something.
I'm just concerned that we have a record of who's speaking. Is there a sign-in sheet or something that they put their names on?
Yes,
And have they done that?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Maxine, go ahead, Maxine.
Okay, what we need to do as soon as possible to take that 1 mile of this mud off and leave that particular part of the road. When it gets down to Nature Road,
When it gets,
mud,
when it gets past the paved section.
then it's okay. And maybe if our weather would cooperate, or we wouldn't get the rain. Now, I talked to Sean several times, like he said, there for a while, he did not have a water truck because he couldn't get a driver to drive the water truck. And you can't drive the blade and the water truck, of course. So what we need to do here is get that particular mile of this mud off of that section. And maybe if weather permitting, and we get some good dry weather, hot weather, then it probably will firm up and we'll get, but we need some ditches for the water to stay off of the road, not in the middle of the road. And right now, when it rains, we get it in the middle of the road. Now, I know I don't see too well, but I have a good son that drives. He has his own detail shop, so I know him. And like he said, why are they not doing what they should do like you did with your driveway, Mom? I said, it wasn't that expensive. And I know on my property tax, it says Palomino Valley GID, blah, blah, dollars amount. Now, I know how to use the brain and my calculator. And now there's 11 families out on that. When we bought that property, there was only 3 people out there. One right, actually had one big and right, and then the house that Bob lives in now.
Maxine, I'll give you 10 more seconds.
Okay, my man.
Sum it up real quick. I'll give you 10 more seconds.
10 more seconds, you
Oh, I got 10 more
I'll
seconds.
give you just a quick,
Okay. What we need to do is get this thing handled as quickly as possible. We'll try and be patient, but please let us know when we can get that mile taken care of.
thank you. Any other public comment? Nope. If you guys want to discuss that, we'll wait till we get to that agenda item on the roads.
said by Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Said by Peace.
Okay, welcome new trustees. Election of officers by the board of trustees. So we'll just do this separately, and I'll just say welcome to Julie, Michael, I kind of welcome you too, because you're elected now. And it's kind of refreshing that for a long time, we have a board full of elected people. And there's nobody appointed at this table. So that's kind of cool. So I would just say, I'm glad you guys are all here. Hopefully we can do our best for the people of Palomino Valley. And we'll just move on from there. And I'm gonna take public comment on both these. So is there any public comment on welcoming the new trustees?
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
If I
you.
might ask one thing, could you let us know what you come up with on this issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd also like to let the new board members know in your stack of papers in your packet is basically a breakdown of trustee responsibilities, and if you could review that and follow that, it would be great.
Okay, moving on, election of officers. On the board of trustees. So, I say we're just gonna do each, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, if we wanna split them up. Let's just do one separately, individually, and, we'll go from there.
And there's a breakdown of the duties in the packet as well.
I have a couple comments before we start. You want?
Yes.
They elected me treasurer and secretary. Now, the secretary part's just pretty much making sure the meeting minutes get done and things like that. The treasurer is making sure that the bank accounts are still where they belong, and people have the right access to them, essentially, like the word return. So, if they want to do that, then that's fine.
I said we split it up.
Let's put it up, fine.
Yeah.
But, okay, that's fine.
It's up to the board, you know. Any of you guys have any discussion on election of officers, any insights or complaints or, hold on, I'm
No,
not
when
going
as
public comment
president, I
yet.
did it
I
all.
was gonna say, I
Oh,
already know,
okay.
I know who the president.
Thank
should
you,
be.
guys.
All right, thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, any public comment on election of officers? All right, anybody got a motion?
I'll make a motion to nominate trustee Patterson as president again.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. If you guys want to break in with discussion at any time, that's fine, okay? So we got a motion on vice president.
I motion that this gentleman here get elected vice president.
And I'm gonna second that. You guys got any discussion?
Discussion. No discussion, then.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. And now that Greg and I were having a discussion about secretary treasurer, if you guys want to split it up, somebody's gonna make a motion one way or the other.
Right, the one thing, if you're gonna do that, just leave me treasurer, because I don't wanna have to go through all the bank,
No.
signatures and everything else, and it's a real pain, so. It's just so much easier just to keep things constant, and I deal with these two ladies, and they do a great job, and, it's just easier for me to deal with it that way, secretary treasurer. If you want to do it another way, that's fine
decide-
with me.
If you decide to split it up, I will.
So I'm gonna let Julie,
Next
but
meeting.
to know if you want to do,
I thank you for the offer, but I'm brand new to this.
gonna watch it. right,
I am,
okay,
and
all right.
I believe we should keep it together since it's been
Marshall.
together.
All right, I'm happy to be secretary treasurer again.
All right, I'll make a motion to make trustee.
Greg?
Okay, I'm going to
That's okay.
mess
That
this up
happens to me
many
all the time.
times. One of my partners, Greg, and so
Oh.
this is completely backwards to me.
Well, you tell me, James, please.
So trustee Dennis, secretary and treasurer.
I second.
I got a motion. Treasurer, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Easy and done with. Brian?
Brian, man, I think it's great. It's so nice to see the board united on all of this, and I really appreciate that as a resident out here in Bridgeton. Thank
I have a comment from up here. I'm a little nervous not having the sheriff's here, you know?
Careful what you ask for.
I can call them if you'd like.
Okay, moving on, approval of minutes for December 19th, 2024 regular meeting.
Move to approve, I looked at them and I have no comments this time, Robin.
Thank you.
Wonderful, I'll second.
Okay, and is there any public comment on the minutes? Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Review of bills and other financial matters, transaction report.
Okay, so nothing big to report on this month. There is the 588,000 left in the accounts. And we did not have the LGTA deposit right now, but it's coming. I think they actually emailed me this afternoon with the remit. It's just the meeting's a little early this month compared to later in the months that they had been. So nothing to really speak of there. On the bills for the main account here for the payroll account, there was nothing extra to speak of. The only thing that's recorded was the bonus check is the only major change for that. And then on the estimated operating funds report, we have the 618,000 in the remaining funds budget.
Where's your 618?
It's about halfway in the middle on the first page.
Below estimated expenses and reserves?
Correct.
No.
Right there.
And then
Yeah,
we
618.
618.
Okay, thank you. So you added and subtracted the carryovers and everything, and that's what you got.
correct.
Thank you.
And
In other
then
words, you did all the pluses and minuses, and that's what we got to spend.
and so on the pending invoices to make payments, we went ahead in the mail today. We had the attorney bill and the audit bill, so those have been added there at the bottom at the top section. The only other change, the health insurance, the new employees benefit for medical, I have the new premium, so that one's been increased. The dental and the vision will change next month, but that's negligible. And that's all. Nothing else major.
Any public comment? Can we have a motion to pay the bills?
May I ask a question?
Yep, go ahead.
Just for clarification for me, can you tell me what LGTA is?
The type of tax.
It's a tax.
It's, there's 3 different types of taxes that are collected.
Mhm.
One is an ad valorem,
Yep.
which is the typical property tax. LGTA and the other one, if I had Kathy here, she could give you explicit understanding of what each piece and where all that money comes from. It's, if you look at it from the state, they have huge spreadsheets where each county gets allocated certain amounts of money, and there's these specific tax revenues that come in, and they're all designated in exactly where they go and who gets the money. And so each piece is a piece of that tax revenue that we're seeing come in from
Local
different
government
sources.
tax.
Right, so LGTA doesn't actually have anything associated with like legal LGTA,
No,
anything.
no,
It's
nothing
just,
like
that's
that.
what it's called.
It's the-
It's called the Fair Share
It's the
Tax.
Fair Share
Okay.
Tax. Local Government Tax Acts is what
Okay,
LGTA
thank
stands for, and then Fair Share.
Why do I think it has something to do with sales tax?
It does. It's the fair share that we
There's
get.
all kinds of taxes in there.
That lump
and
together.
depending on where the money's coming from, and I don't have that in my brain cells right now to give you an adequate answer.
They call it the fair share because they put it all in the pool, and then our fair share is
Yeah, I know.
that.
Well,
What
I
they
don't it's
think.
a fair share then, Rhonda, because ours should be.
Listen to me either.
Yeah, it's the fund government revenues from sales tax, property tax, government services tax, now called the motor vehicle privilege tax, gaming licenses, and real property transfer tax, and any interest earned on these revenues. So a few different things grouped in there.
Wow.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, and Julie.
And it's our
thanks for
fair
doing
share of
that.
it.
If I go too quick, just chime in and yell.
Wonderful, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion from you guys? No? Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
Oh, there was one,
Oh, go ahead.
you would ask me on, this is revolving with regards to money, so I might as well go over that right now. Got a promotion from, Costco for a credit card, and I noticed that we use the credit cards at Costco, I think.
We use.
We used to,
Used
we
to.
can no longer. They don't
They
take
have
MasterCard.
a MasterCard, they only take Visa.
Right, so if we got a Visa card, we could do
Get
that,
back.
right?
Yeah,
Now,
we just
now, I like earning 4% back, and I think that's a wise choice.
And you get $100.
Unilaterally just say,
I think we already did.
okay to the,
It has to be in the minutes so that I can present the minutes if you need.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure how in such a way that people with know that you're going to do it tonight, so. Remember there was discussion about it last month? wasn't
Yeah.
there?
Mhm.
But
We
I
didn't
don't-
agendize it, if we didn't agendize it right, then we'll do it again for next month.
And we just got,
So, well, if we didn't do it, Robin will look at that and put it on the agenda for
I
next
think
month.
we already allocated though that you could give them, I mean.
Right, but we didn't agendize it, so.
No, before.
Yeah, I was gonna
We've
say, I
already
think
been
it's,
authorized
yeah.
to
I
do
believe
at
it's-
least-
I believe,
apply for a card,
yeah, I
yeah.
believe
Yeah,
like
authorized you to
3 or
do
4
that.
meetings.
Mhm.
And it was agreed.
Yep.
But we just need you to do it because they need a board.
And then
info.
put my name on.
Yeah, and then you add Sean as his own account. We
I know
need
how
you to
that
open
works.
it.
Wife has one too.
So there you go. But yes, authorized and approved, just not that specific card, but do we need to have it be for the specific card?
Or just a visa.
Uh,
No, I don't, it doesn't have to be that specific.
Okay, then
So
it's
yeah, you're
already been
fine.
approved.
So you then have authorization to move forward.
You do.
with
You
those.
You do.
I understand.
Has to
I
be
don't do
board.
anything without your help.
You were on vacation and we all
Yeah.
decided that
You would do it.
So we're good. Do you want to confirm that form, though, Robin?
I will,
Yeah, that it's approved,
I will.
and if it's not, we'll do it.
I'll agenda it next month.
Okay.
That was an interesting vacation. That was the last one out from the hurricane.
It wasn't big.
Okay, number 6, judicial, you done.
I'm done,
Okay,
yes.
judicial government affairs, we don't have any, road reports, road operations and maintenance reports.
Okay, we actually did get quite a few roads, taken care of, considering, we need water really bad, to keep the roads up, because this is a time where the mornings are so cold, there's not really any grading of roads until later in the afternoon, and we can only do so much. This is typically the time when we're getting equipment serviced. I'm starting building cattle guards for a couple of places and da. So anyway, you can see what's there. Does anybody have any questions? As far as-
Just a review on the one we did at Rangeland Road. The class has a tendency to come off the asphalt.
Okay,
Not in direction in the future, that's all I'm asking.
let me just say this, when I put it had a crown in it.
Right.
They drive only in the like this.
Yeah, it's flattered, really.
So the water does sit there because it is that.
Especially
It
that,
is the same
right,
Class E, like
I know,
that when where I stopped at that mile and then it goes to the culvert.
right.
She's like, no, that's great. Time to settle in and get there.
Well, the problem is soaked through asphalt. So if you have a high concentration of mag chloride.
There is no mag chloride. We haven't magged in
She's
2
talking-
years.
Rangeland Mag, Bacon Rhine now.
Right.
That's
Oh,
my-
I thought we were on
that's
over
my subject.
north.
I said Rangeland Road.
Oh, I thought.
No.
Chief. Okay.
No. Specifically talking about the project we did, Rangeland Road, was about $30,000. It worked out, whatever it was, it worked really good. And we saved about 15,000 doing this way.
Yep.
And, when we go to put, that's why I said I want you to take a look at it and think about when we're putting Class E base down on a hard surface. Let's be careful that we, either have it thick enough or something so the internal drainage doesn't get stopped by the asphalt surface, things like that.
Okay, and just for information, FYI, that chip seal that you guys put down 10 years ago?
Oh, that's
Eight.
ancient history.
No. But what I'm telling you is that
Right.
there's so many holes in it,
Right.
it doesn't, it's not like it's sitting on asphalt. That's why I
Yeah.
covered it. So, anyway, and as far as, I have been getting quite a few, and I know it's a thing. I did Wilcox Ranch up.
Okay.
And so this material, and then I stopped because I needed it, and I went to Bacon Rhine North. Same exact material that's on Wilcox, that is just because everybody drives all, nice and,
Right.
they get all aspects of the road. Same material is on Bacon Rhine Road. Just want everybody to kind of understand. So why this one has a problem and that one doesn't, I'm not sure. But from where I stopped, the road is really bad. The hill has sucked every bit of the base and E that we put on, but it has too much. It needs to be covered. I do have in my
You
existing,
got the 37,000.
I have the
We talked
37,000.
about that last time. I
I'm
got it
gonna
up
go
here.
ahead and hammering that out, see how we have good weather,
Right.
and that way we can handle that. Now, depending on where they are on that hill, it
Oh, yeah.
could be a little slick on the
It
hill.
could be real good.
Ryan.
Okay.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm used to going
So,
down that
anyway.
sideways when it rains.
It definitely, so my 37.8 that I have in existing and take care of that. And so I'll probably that, and then when we come to the approval of certain that I gave you all, well, most people got a list, at least the old ones. That at that point, hopefully we can recoup some of this just to get it somewhat back if we can.
We're talking about. Where it's
From-
real rough,
Right from what I call the pit,
No,
that
I
road,
know
and then
what
it's just where we put the.
pretty
between the
rough right
pond,
now, yeah.
And then pass gooder up the,
Yep.
to mid.
Okay.
Yep.
How far out are we on that? Where you?
I would say, by the time I get the
Pretty
truck,
bad.
I'm thinking 2 weeks.
That's not bad with this weather. You get
Yeah.
this weather, yeah.
Right now, we're in a project trying to get some stuff done, and I haven't contacted anybody, so I will be getting it done. We can probably go and spread at least one belly from my pile, my E pile at the yard, to get that section by the ponds,
Right,
where that's the big holes,
right.
and then get that, at least get
How
that.
much stockpile do you have?
I would say probably 150 tons, 200, not a lot.
No.
It's a reserve for, and it's not enough to cover the hill, and I don't,
Right, because you,
it's just when I go along and find the spot grading that needs to be done on a lot of pothole stuff that the E has created, so.
how about, and I've gotten a few calls on Rangeland.
Yeah, but that's the last mile, that's a whole nother deal.
Right.
We have that in,
The list.
you weren't here, I don't think.
No, he's got that list.
Does he, okay, you do have the list then, so it's on my,
The list that I asked
Right.
him to.
Yeah,
throw a bunch of
compile,
roads on.
there's like 7 roads on it, and that's on it to finish the mile.
Perfect.
So that being said, I talked to Sean before the meeting and he was telling me about that. And so I think his total cost is like 40 to do that section on Wilcox. So, next month, for your information too, Robin, next month, we're gonna agendize a few roads, I think 2 roads?
3.
Is it 3 different roads or two's on the same road? Two's on the same road, isn't it? Yeah, no, oh, no, you're right, 3 roads, sorry. So we're gonna agendize 3 roads for Class E material next month.
Okay.
And part of it's including what he's talking about there, to try to get him the extra money for that, and then a couple of additional roads.
I was gonna request that even though it's not, but
I said I gotta agendize it next month, so we'll put it on there, and it's just a, very minimal part of the money we have to work with this year, and so we'll talk about that next month, and we'll see if the board wants to spend some money. And for the new folks, you guys probably know, we can't spend any money unless we all agree to it, right? So my job is to try to get you to agree with me. and you'll vote for it. Okay, that's my job. So nothing is spent without the board okay. So all the dollars spent, like for road projects and stuff, it's gonna come before all of you. We're gonna have discussion and get all the heartache out, and we'll figure out where we wanna prioritize them. So next month, we'll have a few roads to talk about.
And do we want to can we talk about it now, or do we have the ability to do that with the road? So we need to this is where I said
I really don't know
capital improvements, and somebody understood, my idea of capital
I-
improvements is different than other people's, so it's, looking, I should have said
I
run
mean,
projects.
he's talking about some specific requests too,
Yeah.
that we've seen come in on Wilcox, that section. But I don't want to get into the weeds on a bunch of roads that are on the agenda.
Yep.
Is that cool?
You want to wait?
Yeah, I mean, we'll put it on next month. You got a
Okay.
road you want to talk about?
No, I
We'll
just,
talk about Shoals.
I have, one of the things that we did, a lot of you guys weren't here. Go back a couple of years and we started this chip seal program where we're gonna do so much chip seal and then have money left over and do those kinds of things for other projects.
Did you want to talk about chip seal? Because I'm going to be bringing a proposal to the board in March. And you can bash it, love it, hate it.
Well, this is a question that the board needs to think about. What happened way back when was we were supposed to have like at least every 5 out of the 5 years, a year where we didn't have to do any chip seal, which meant all the money could go to finally hitting some of the dirt roads that are canals, and there's probably a third of them, at least 25% to a third of them are essentially canals. They're too low in the ground. They pick up the water and it's harder to get it off and things like that. So, if we look at the roads on a macro level and decide, because I've seen it a lot, well, this needs to be done, no, this needs to be done. What I was trying to do is get some consensus in terms of how to go about determining the specifics of when we're going to spend some money on these roads that are, they're just plain old roads, but they have been graded and graded and graded down into canals where they don't have adequate drainage to get the water off of the road, so we end up with problems on the road. And the base is deteriorated, a number of different things. Like you can blade it, and some of those roads hold up pretty good, some of them don't hold up pretty good.
But I think, Greg, in that retrospect, what you're talking about is, and I wasn't here, just going back real quick, I wasn't here when the chip seal was put in. But my worldview has always been and pretty clear to the public that what's on the deck, we're maintaining what's on the deck. We're not going backwards.
But that idea was brought forward that when we did chip seal, this stuff would last long.
But I can't go back in time.
Do it.
And what I would have you hone in on is when I look at a number for road improvements and repairs to August 31st,
Yeah.
and I see numbers like 618, what that tells me is when I came to the board, those numbers were in the 400,000s 4 years ago. When I see a number of 618, that means I got more wheels on those roads. That's why there's more money in the coffers. And so,
I'm not going to argue those semantics.
no. And so what I'm asking you is, when we talk about doing it, all of us are gonna discuss it. Like, should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we prioritize money for this road or this road?
Here's the problem. We've got 92 miles of road, and generally what happens in a city is if you have road issues, you have a city of 20,000, 50,000, Cedar Reno, Sparks, it doesn't matter. They go out, do assessments on the entire road system so they can determine. They have a number factor for the road. It gets more complicated than we need it. But they have numbers and factors where they can go in and say, our roads are in this kind of condition, and here's the specific areas of roads that need to be done under the guise of the engineers or the people that did the survey to look at the entire area. A lot of these small towns every 5-10 years, Susanville or whatever, those kind of places, they'll pay somebody to go in and bring that up. So then everybody knows what the foundation of the costs are going to be for the facilities that need to be put in later on, or down the road type thing. So you keep up with the program. The problem we have here is we somewhat kept up with the program, and we've done remarkable things, you know, chip seal, Class E base and everything. But we've never taken each road and said, okay, this road needs 300 yards of something, bring it up and get the drainage work and get it high enough. And this is a cost for that road that needs to be done. And it's added up. So you have all the roads looked at, and you have an idea of what every road has got a cost associated with it. More importantly, it tells our good friends at the county where we're at and what we need to do. But we don't have any ammo to just, oh, we're going to do this or do that. We throw our hands in the air, we're going to go do this or do this or that. We don't have a piece of work that says, look, we got $5 million worth of work that's got to be done out here because of the neglect or whatever. And we need a plan to make it put in place so we can move forward on stuff like this. At least we know where we're at. So we know if we're in a hole, we can say to the constituents, hey, this is what it costs and this is how much money we got, and we don't have any money. But it's a way, it's a tool of looking at the condition of your assets, just like everything. Sewer plants do it. Everybody does it. You know, in terms of making sure your equipment and the fire department is, you've got lists a mile long for checklists and things like that to make sure that it's working and doing what it's supposed to do. Do we have anything like that here? Question mark.
Anything else, Greg?
No. No, that's it. I'm just thinking, we'll start looking about stuff like that because people do it and it costs money to do it, but the only way we're gonna come up with the
But in the big
number.
But in the big picture, Greg,
Yeah.
we're out here in Palomino Valley.
I
We
know.
got X amount of numbers,
Yeah.
right? I look at road requests. I listen to him to tell me the condition of the roads. We prioritize how we spend the money based on ABC when we have our discussions. And, I mean, beyond that, I don't know what else we can do. Because like, we're not the county, we're not city of Clark.
You don't have lots of money, I know.
We have X amount of dollars to work with and 5 volunteers up here to figure it out. So,
For free, yes, I
yeah, I
understand.
mean, Marshall.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Greg, if you wanna work on something like that.
Oh, no, you don't.
I'd be willing to work on it with you.
Well, it's here's the problem. I can, let's just, you know, I can say, oh, this road needs to be done, or that needs, and then wait a minute, you come in and say that, I'd rather have a professional analysis that's not part of this group. So it can make some sense that this is what needs to be done, but that's politics and that's a lot of stuff.
But I think the best approach forward is what we've been doing where, for instance, what was it last year? I mean, the board talked about it for years, and is it perfect? Is Broken Spur perfect? No.
Nothing's perfect. We all know
But
that.
Nevada, tell me, is it better?
What's that?
Is Broken Spur better?
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then we've served the people we're here to serve. That's all I care about.
All right.
She lives out here 30 years, which I have. You have. The roads are 100% better than what they would have been. Whiskey Springs was called the Ho Chi Minh Trail. That tells you. It was bad.
It used to take me an hour to get to where Don Otto lived, because that was my dad's house.
Just potholes this
It was
big.
ugly.
I mean, it was that bad.
And the
people
road.
that come in and
right.
complain about it, but they don't know what it was like 30 years
I
ago.
know that, but I'm just moving forward with ideas that this is what people do in the real world to come up with a case for costs associated
And
with
so
programs.
the best because I'm not gonna discount your idea. The best thing to do moving forward, just like I'm gonna do if I have an idea. You want an assessment of the roads apart from the board members and the operations manager by an engineering firm. Okay, that's what you want, right?
I'm thinking that's the gold standard,
Okay,
yeah.
then go get a price and bring it to the table and I'll put it on the agenda.
Engineers
And then the
aren't
board will talk
cheap.
about it.
Engineers aren't cheap, trust me. I
And-
deal with them every day.
And I'd like to just mention
Yeah,
this again,
I'm one, yeah.
if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've said this numerous times. I'd like Greg to.
Engineering,
Just general engineering, water, wastewater, you name
So for 50 years, our roads have been graded. There were times where a lot of roads were graded off. There was also times when they were just graded. And I can tell you that I don't grade stuff off of roads. I always pull stuff back. It's every time anybody drives down the road, sees the dust cloud, that is your road leaving the road. It's that. Well, no, but it was grading off. It's what I mean, it's like the grading really isn't it. It's the people driving, and it doesn't matter. Even I drive and see dust in the hot summer days. It doesn't matter. It's that leaving the road. So that's what starts taking down the road. And I've only been here for a short time, and I've got, I think, almost between 25 and 30 miles of Class E put down since I've been here, which that means, and it does start, the mag stuff helped a lot, but it doesn't dust and the road doesn't go away. And when it's done properly and you got your crown, even if it's in a canal, that water, and we have escapes, that water always stays to the side and channels there. I can show you roads that it works great on. There's a little issue right there because on the north and the south's wider, but that north side is kind of narrow. They only drive in the middle. And so now, like we just said, it just holds the water. So if we could keep them driving,
Good luck.
right, you can't. So, but you can't make anybody happy.
We filled this enough.
I just wanna say
you
the
know, I
dust.
really appreciate your calm, collected attitude this time, Sean. You're really doing good. I just gotta say that.
We all have to.
I think we're all doing good, Greg.
No, for Sean, he's really doing it.
We all have to admit, since we did leave the BG world and came into the Class C's where
I know that.
And once the sun comes out, that stuff does burn up.
Yeah,
pretty quick.
it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
And it's self-healing. So when you do get the bumps and it falls off your car, it fills in the bump.
The next tolls.
Put a lot of Class C.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Greg, that would be the way to go, but I know how expensive those types of
Yeah,
studies
that's
are.
what my, yeah.
And we could probably pave, a couple of miles of road for what it would cost.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said get a cost for you. And we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. Right.
Well, the other way, the other solution was, and I'm not sure, was, I had another idea once that each board member gets one, let's see, there's 5 of us, so we bust this whole place up into 20% chunks. And each road member, each trustee goes out to that specific area. And mind you, that trustee's not gonna have his residents in that area that he's looking at. So he has to come up with
My 20% to Sean.
with an honest solution.
Right? Is that right?
Pardon me?
I'm gonna defer my 20% to Sean.
All right, whatever mine is too, that's fine. All right, you wanna do that, that's fine.
Can I take public comment real quick?
All right.
Then, before I forget any public comment?
John, for the record, Lori Splitter. If I'm understanding you correctly, that what you're asking for is to take the list of all the roads and just set priorities on regular maintenance, and then we have the list that we get each month of all the projects that have been referred to Sean for regular maintenance.
Yes and no. One of the things it's a little bit clarified is the program is what we're going to need to do to maintain of the assets we have.
Right.
And so having that total cost brings things into perspective with regards to our $618,000 that we have today to spend versus how much we have to spend over 20, 30. I'm used to doing these for 20 years, $2 billion, $3 billion programs, like wastewater. It just goes on and on and on because you've got capital expenses, operational expenses, everything that you need to do. And it's a big old huge great detail. Certainly for 92 miles of road, we it's going to need this and this and this, and it's going to maybe $10,000 for that road. How much for this? How much for that? To bring it up to square one and have that on the record so we know what we got to deal with.
So with all due respect, I think that what I'm hearing you say is if we look at that list of priorities, and there are current members who certainly are experts on this, and that's why you're all here.
Thank you.
And then there are other people who've been on the board who might be willing to volunteer to help as you're establishing that baseline for next year's projects and going forward so that you know where to spend your $600,000.
Something like
Just
that.
Hold on,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for a while, I think this is going along fine, but I really think it's now turning into
An agenda item?
it's something that's not on the agenda. So if this was a road report, and I guess there's action to be taken to approve it, but
I wasn't trying to make anything actionable. All it is brought an idea forward, so I was making sure of that.
I know, but still, it can be deliberation, even if there's no intent. So,
Okay.
I just think it's getting a little too far.
Thank you. Any other public
Thank you.
comment?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Public comment.
All right.
May I ask a couple of questions about the road report?
Go ahead.
Thank you for all of your work on this. And one of my questions is the pothole patches that are on here. Is that done by you or is that done by an outside company?
No, that's it.
Okay. And do you make the patch
No.
or do you
We go
purchase
to
the product?
Granite,
Oh,
they
okay.
have it and we put it in our little truck and then we go around and pull it.
Okay, great. On December 30th, I drove the roads. I drove most of the roads around here, and it was right after a snow, and yeah, Bacon Run was really, really bad. I also asked our local delivery driver for some of his top worst roads, and so I have a little list. Is that something that'll be agendized for next meeting, that we talk about the roads?
Are we talking UPS?
You have specific roads that you want to talk about?
Yes.
Put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and you had said that you were going to put something on the agenda for next month. Is that the same thing?
Just a few roads that you. But if you have certain roads that you've heard about that you want to discuss,
Yes.
we each road.
Okay.
And discuss it.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, just let Robin know.
Okay.
Send me your list and
All right. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
All right. Moving on. Number 8, unfinished business, none. New business, none. Correspondence.
it's January. We're busy. I received a request from First Centennial Escrow. They want to know, they need a letter from us stating that the PBGID does maintain Whiskey Springs. Then I also heard I received the local government finance calendar. The Nevada Department of Taxation sent out a request to know if we're trying to raise our tax rate. We're not eligible to because there isn't any availability to do it, but we can request it. Heard from Kelly Langley, the Department of Taxation. She sent out the fiscal year 25-26 budget forms. The poll pack renewal was sent in. They didn't have any questions on it. And I'm currently working on the survey of occupational injuries and illnesses. And Sean gave me the information I needed, and Angie's working on the rest of it. So we're working on that. And I received from PullPack, because we didn't have an attorney until last month, on the tort report, and apparently they sent it to the attorney as well.
I
And,
received it.
great. And that's all I have under correspondence.
All right, calendar?
January 31st, the Department of Taxation will send out their assessed valuation of segregation of property report. Then on February 14th, the QES is done, which Angie will be doing for the second quarter of 24-25. On February 15th, we will receive the preliminary revenue projections packet. And then on the 21st of February is the last day to let them know if we want to change our tax rate. And that's all I got.
Board member and staff items. And this is just like, kind of your thing, Julie, I mean, but we already talked about it.
Right,
You're gonna have some roads on the agenda.
right.
Yesterday was the last day to file your expense report for this. I hope you all did, otherwise you'll end up paying a couple $100.
Well, I
Because
paid
they
once.
do, I know from Massachusetts.
I have a suggestion, and I know that you've written grants already for this, for the GID. And you know how labor intensive it is. Is there a possibility of perhaps hiring a grant writer to find grants? I don't know what grants are out there for a road GID. But we obviously need more money.
I think, based on my experience with the county, that we, like if I personally found another grant I wanted to go after,
Mhm.
I would call,
County
county manager's office, I can't remember her name, I got her on my emails at home, and certain gal there that I would call, and she said that she would help. If we were in that instance, like if we needed help doing that, that she would help. And it obviously would be a board member working with her, to go through the process, like if we found something that wasn't county related. So that's what I mean now. So if I found one, I would call her, Gabrielle Enfeld. That's her name. ENFIELD, I think, Gabrielle. Yeah. So I would just call her exactly that.
I intend to do some, nosing around and see what I can come up with. And, I think that, it's important, if we can get any free money, that we get it, because there's a lot of it out there right now, and I don't know, we're probably gonna disappear pretty quickly, so, you know, I'm gonna do that. If we come up with something, then, I'll let everybody know, and, do what we have to get the grant ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, and talk to, like, first call I would probably make if it was me is to, Jackie Rose. She just got reelected, she's pretty giddy right now, so. Anything else from you guys? I'm gonna just make one comment, I didn't do it earlier, it's something that we were doing last year. I don't think Nevada's gonna mind, but I'm just gonna go on the record saying it, that under our current board handbook, unless I designate Sean's direct contact supervisor, if you want to call it that, but I'm gonna delegate that back to Nevada, like we did last year. So Sean and Nevada will be working together. If there's an issue, those guys will work it out. And like before, Sean and I still
That worked a
talk.
lot.
He still calls me. So, yeah, we still talk, but just for the record, Nevada and Sean will be the team on that. So you guys know that.
And you have to fill out the,
That's part of it, Nevada.
yeah, there's other
In June, we'll have
responsibilities.
a employee review that you'll be filling out.
There we go.
Oh, I'm really mad.
We'll try
That's
to-
why he delegated it off.
Yeah.
He never even did it.
I'm quick on my feet. Get you, we'll find a shell or something. It's gonna be like a shell that we can work off of.
Cool Pack has one.
Yeah.
That-
That we could give you Nevada that you can fill out.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, like,
Well,
kind of an outline.
Greg
You can
even
follow.
had,
I got
yeah.
copies of stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
what we
Yeah.
used before.
That's pretty
Well,
simple.
I'm gonna be able to spend more time with this now, you know, it's obligations, it's kind of slowing down just now it's not so much problem.
And we're gonna continue the same, thing, and I think for, the road requests, Robin, just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
To the same people.
Okay.
And if other people want them on the board, I think we're legal if you do it separately
Mhm.
or back CCing,
Mhm.
right? So if you guys wanna see the road request, I don't care. Robin currently sends all the road requests to Sean and me in Nevada.
Mhm.
If you guys wanna see them, just request it and she'll do it where we're
Yeah.
within compliance with the open meeting.
But that's also listed on the, on your road report, that there's been a request?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
What
Yeah.
happens is
No,
right
not on
now,
mine, it's on the,
the,
on this one.
the
Yeah.
spreadsheet,
yes. Mhm. Yeah,
it comes in, I forward it to Sean and John in Nevada.
Mhm.
And
and then you'll see 99.9% of the time, it's done by the time we have the next meeting.
Okay, so currently we got, the Class C agenda item.
Mhm.
And we're gonna have Julie's roads on the agenda. Probably all under the road reports, right? Yeah, whatever. However you wanna do it. And, just to give you guys a heads up, March, I'm gonna bring, Robin and I are gonna work on it in February, between February and the March meeting. And in March, I'm gonna bring an actual contract with a proposal of roads to do patching and pay filled out. It can be changed, and we're gonna bring that whole thing done. Says, oh, I think we don't need to do this road, or whatever. We can change it before we approve it. Okay.
We want an agenda item for February to approve, you're moving forward and do that.
Do that in March. I'm gonna just bring the contract.
No, you need that ahead of time.
No, Greg, I'm gonna bring a contract, the board's gonna
Right,
approve
you're
that
gonna
we're
bring me a
gonna,
contract in March without the board saying you didn't have to do anything.
I can do whatever I want and bring it to the board.
Very good.
So, in March, I'm gonna have a contract for the board to look at. Okay,
Okay, so,
all right, anything else?
And we have 5 weeks between meetings this time.
Yeah. Public comment on matters not listed on this agenda?
Yeah, how is the board going to see what the project is going to be? Are you just going to bring it to the board in March?
It's not being advertised yet, Greg. The board's gonna see the contract. It's not being put out to
So
the
if you
board
have a
approves it.
contract, that means you have a specific amount of work that you need to get done.
But the contract can be changed at that point, Greg.
Okay.
If we gotta change it, we'll do it at that meeting.
okay, well, let's don't, I mean,
Any other public comment?
if there's a decision to be made about whether to do this or not, or whatever, that in itself should be part of a deliberation that's an action item.
Agreed.
So put things on the agenda that need to be discussed, and then I think that's the way to comply with the open meeting law.
And we will. Any other public comment? Nope. Adjournment?
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And you did not set a record this
And the
time.
motion is adjourned.